Welcome back, Fun Fam. And if you're brand new to the channel, welcome in to follow the Bradley's Fun. My name is Ron E. Bradley, and I hope that wherever you are, you're having a phenomenal day. Speaking of the day, as of the recording of this, The Daily Dish with me, Ronnie Bradley. Let's see. Today is the 8th day of April in the year 2025. And I'm glad you all are here. And I hope that you're having, did I already say that? I do hope you're having a phenomenal day, though. Fantastic day, morning, fantastic morning, evening, afternoon, middle of the afternoon, night, middle of the night, supper time, dinner time, breakfast time, lunch time, midnight snack time, any time that it may be for you. I hope that it's phenomenal. And we're going to try to do our best this morning. It's here in I'm here in not so sunny today, USA. I was just looking at the door, not the door, at the window. Sorry, and it's a little overcast, and I kind of like it. I don't know. I like the cozy feeling. Fall of the four seasons, fall is my favorite. We don't really get that here in Florida, so that is, I don't miss winter at all. Like literally at all. I don't miss winter, but I miss fall in the sense of if you're in the Midwest, did I say Midwest? If you're in the Midwest, oh my gosh, if you're in the Midwest and you have those like crispy fall mornings and you wake up and it's like, it was like 55 overnight and then it hits 75 during the day and it's like that perfect fall weather and the leaves have turned and it's just, it feels nice and crisp and beautiful outside. Those are the times that that I really love that. So yes, indeed. I need to say hi to everybody. Yep, Andy W says good morning, rainy here as always. And Snort of Poopas Cuber, JD Friel, everybody's coming in. We'll say hi to everybody in just a moment. We also have somebody that may be waiting backstage, but first of all, thank you guys for being here. As you know, you guys, if it weren't for you, I'm being completely honest, I would not be getting out of bed in the morning when I do, if it weren't for you all being here. And I know that you're going to be here, and I love that. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you that shows up. Best audience on YouTube for sure. Thank you so much. You guys are so loving and so wonderful and so generous. And I love, for each one of the names that pop up in my head, I'm seeing a smiling face, and I'm just so excited for you all to be here. You guys give me the energy to start my day, just like the Autobots need their energy. I need my energy from Energon.
A toast, Autobots. Boy, these are good. I needed to refuel. Energy! This stuff's the greatest!
That's right, because of you, I can transform and roll out of bed in the morning each and every morning. Look at all the smiling faces coming through the door this morning. I appreciate each and every one of you. First through the door this morning was with that beautiful polar bear nose in our face. It's Snortapoopas Cuber. Yep, Snortapoopas Cuber. That's exactly the way I would say it up there in Missouri too. That's where I'm from. For a lot of people that don't know, I'm from Missouri, and for some reason, Missouri being actually the correct pronunciation, it's a little bit weird because when you're from St. Louis, like I am, you kind of make fun of the people that say Missouri, but that's actually the correct way to say it. It is Missouri and not Missouri, which is the way I grew up saying it, but it actually is pronounced Missouri. Even though the Indians, that's, it's the spelling. You put an I on something that sounds like an ah. Hello, humans and other critters. Hello, follow the Bradley's Fun. Hello from Jeremy Heath. Jeremy's in the house. And he says hi to Snortapoopas Q Burr. And then Tom F. coming through the door. Got 2 mods in already. Jeremy Heath and Tom F coming through the door. Good morning, all. And hanging with Erica and Raph is here all the way from Germany, and she's got her high fives going on there. Appreciate that, Erica. And Tom F says, Snort Poopas saying hi, and Tom F saying hi, and Erica saying hi. And I would imagine Erica probably meant to say hit the likes as you come in, and probably not hit the lies as you sub in. Hit the lies as you sub in. That's probably what they say when they're getting ready to start the view every morning. They're like, okay, ladies, you ready? Hit the lies. We'll get some in. Oh, that's funny. Mr. Fulton Mraz, I've been praying for you because of the sprain. Morning, Ron. I was watching Not Just a Goof on Disney Plus, and I saw our good friend Walt from Mouse Talk on the documentary movie today. I have not watched that yet. It's hard to believe it's been 30 years since a Goofy movie, though. Are they going to do that one in live action? Will that be the next live action? Can you imagine a Goofy movie live action? Who are they going to have star in it? Let's see. You can have Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger. And it's the guy from Marvel. I'm still waking up. By the way, my cup this morning, I don't know if you can see it. Big Shot Scream Team, Stratosphere Tower. This is 25 years old, or maybe 26 from the time it was manufactured, because I got this in the year 2000. Yeah. When I was working at the top of the Stratosphere Tower in Las Vegas. And when I get through this, I have something to discuss with somebody about a thought that I had earlier this morning. Equus Hart is here. Thank you, Equus Hart. Good morning, everyone. And this is me during the introduction. Yes, that is both Superman and Hercules actors. I have met both of them. Maritza's Yard and Craft says, hola, my mom is here. Good dreary morning. Hi, Mom. Everybody say hi, Mom. And Andy W. is here. And JD Friel. Hello, JD. Hello, Andy. Good morning, everyone. Just popping in for a bit. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're doing well, JD. Appreciate it. And thank you so much, Equus Hart. Appreciate a comment like that. You're awesome, Ron. Always fun watching your streams. I try to make them fun. I hope that I make them fun. It's because I know that I'm trying to help everybody get their day started. So the idea is, hopefully it is some fun for everybody who's in the midst of starting their day. Well, I appreciate that. Even though I've never met you in person, I can tell you're a really good guy and someone I want to support. Well, it's a good thing you haven't met me in person yet, because you get to know me long enough, you'll know that I'm not that good. I wish I was, but I will tell you, I'm no Rachel Zegler, that's for sure. I honor and appreciate the original Snow White. Linda F is here. I appreciate you coming in the door. Yeah, it might have been an autocorrect thing, Erica. Mertz's Yarn and Crafts, Kaladin 910 in the house. Josh Gad is Goofy. If Josh Gad was Goofy, I would never go see the movie. I haven't met him in person, but I have stood really close to him in person. Can't say we met, can't say I shook his hand or anything like that, but I was a couple feet away from him. Same with like Matthew McConaughey. I never met Matthew McConaughey, but I've been literally 3 feet away from him. I didn't talk to him and introduce myself or anything like that. But Chalamet is Max John Goodman is Pete Lizzo as Powerline. That's yeah. I'm guessing you're talking about what Disney would do with their casting if they were to do that. That's hilarious, though. Oh my goodness. Yes. If you get to know Ron in person, you'll realize that he is indeed a person, which actually, funny enough that you say that, because there is so much on YouTube today that are not people now that AI is a thing. Oh my gosh. How many AI videos, how many videos you click on now that you think are news type videos like this, and you click on them and you realize about 5 minutes in, this is all AI. Like somebody just created this with some AI program. I'm not a huge fan of that. And but what I am a huge fan is celebrating all of you. And we do a celebration every time somebody purchases something from the Spread Shop, which I need to share so that you can see what the Spread Shop is. Those of you who are here may be aware of it. By the way, if you haven't done so, please click that like button on the way in. We'd really appreciate that. And if you are watching this on the replay, click the like button and let us know. There's the Spread Shop. There's one of my shirts. You can take a look at the Spread Shop. I'm sure somebody put the link in the chat, and anything you want to purchase on there. If you purchase it during the show, let me know. We're going to celebrate that. Also, any other thing that you do during the show as far as like support for our channel, super chat, super things, super stickers, PayPals, buy me coffees, or memberships, gifted membership milestone chats, somebody becomes a member, we're going to celebrate. The celebration is going to look something like this. Now, when we are doing the celebration, if you want, you can use your like custom emojis. If you're a member of the channel, you can use the membership emojis. But please celebrate with us. Use any emojis you want. Use dance emojis. Use the fireworks emojis. Any happy face emoji. Anything you want to celebrate with us. I'm sorry. What was that? Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Somebody is somebody seems to be knocking. God, hold on just a second here, guys. I'm so sorry.
Doc, calm down, okay? Just calm down. It's me. It's Marty.
No, it can't be you! I sent you back to the future!
Hey, Doc, that's right, but I came back again. I came back from the future. Don't you remember last night? You fainted. I brought you home.
This can't be happening! You can't be here! It doesn't make sense for you to be here! I refuse to even believe that you are here!
But she is here. She's back from the future. Erica and Raph. Erica from Hanging with Erica and Raph. How's it going? Good afternoon.
Oh, the door. I'm sorry. It's Amazon. I'm doing good. I'll be back.
See, I told you the door was knocking. Guten Tag. Erica will be right back. They rang just 2 seconds too early, and that's okay. We'll get her back on stage in just a minute. Germany calling. Weird. And for those that have, by the way, thank you to Go and Shogi, and of course everybody else who's become a member or donated memberships to the channel. If you have done that, if you donated a membership to the channel, check this out. We have a new member emoji. We have 80 members of the channel now. So the next milestone is 20 members away, and that's 100. And if you are a member of the channel, you can use your weird emoji that we now have in the chat. Let's get you back on the stage. She's back and better than ever.
Sorry, he was ringing the doorbell like ding. I'm like, I'm coming. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I always wonder, like, because I live in an apartment and we're in inspection month. I'm like, please, hopefully don't show up during my show, because like we gotta come back. Hi, you can't really look in the room right now, so we're on air. Erica.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
when you think of history. I'm doing a history class with my son at home right now.
Ooh.
And when you think of history, think about the year 1829. Okay, big
That's
year.
oddly specific.
Wasn't it 1829 was the big crash? Was it 1829 or
The
sorry, 19
I mean the
1929, not
stock
8,
market, it's
yeah,
1929.
1829. I meant 1929. I wasn't, yeah, it's early. My energy's not all that. Okay, cool. So think about this. When you're thinking about history and you think of the year like 19, say 29, 25, 20, whatever, 1920s, right? 1920s. And
Mhm.
then you think of the year 1890. In your mind, doesn't that just seem like a long period of time between 1890 and 1925? Like you think of all the different things that happened. I mean, the airplane got invented, the car got invented, electric lights became a big thing. There was like this huge shift. The 1890s, 1890s, still the old West, right? And then you have the 1900s.
Mhm.
You're in the 1920s, and you're in the Roaring 20s, and things are happening in the big city. It just seems like a long stretch, right? But I was thinking about
It
this
does.
today. I was
Mhm.
thinking about this today. When we think historically, we think, "Oh my gosh, that's a long period of time." But when I think back to 1990, it just seems like yesterday, right?
Yeah, right.
It's
Oh
the
gosh.
same amount of time. 35 years since
Yeah.
1990, and I mean, I think in the 90s it's just like being like just like yesterday. I mean, and we still listen to so much music from the 1990s and even the 1980s, and it just still seems pretty fresh. And then I think back to those historical periods, and you go back another 10 years, like the 1880s from the 1920s.
Mhm.
It's like, wow. But then I think about the 1980s and I'm like, well, Reagan was just the president, wasn't he? But no, we've had a lot of bad presidents, unfortunately, between Reagan and now. But it's just like, I don't know. It just kind of blows my mind the way that time works, because it's all about
Mhm.
perception. And it's like the fact that I was thinking about, like I was talking to my wife last night. I'm like, how how on God's green earth is it the year 2025? Like that just doesn't.
Yeah. We have those
Uh,
moments when we hit middle age. All of a
well, it's
sudden,
not
it's
just.
like
I think it's more than middle age. It's that when I was born in 1971, growing up, the big thing in like religion and culture and all that stuff, most Christians thought 2000. That's it. That's everything happens in 2,000 year increments. So the year 2000, it's all over. The Lord's coming back. That's it. We're done. Millennium, right? So I always was freaked out about the year 2000 being the end of the world. And now we're in the year 2025, a quarter of a century past it. And I'm like, oh, wow. So, like, the last 25 years happened. When I first visited Europe in the mid 1960s, there was still bomb craters in downtown London. Yeah, yeah,
wow.
not.
Yeah.
Um, I remember
Yeah.
meeting a World War II. My grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he
Mhm.
passed away a couple years ago. He was 97 when he passed away, I think. I don't know. My mom's in the chat. She can tell me.
Mhm.
My grandma, who was with him at the time, she just passed away last year and she was 101. Um, and you think about that and you think, wow, these people have lived over 100 years. They lived over this big historical period of time. But that when you go back in history and you study historical periods, they last 3, 4, 5, 600 years. And it's like, it's just crazy to think how just time is such a strange concept, and yet we live in it and deal with it every day. And we don't normally think about it, but sometimes my brain goes
Mhm.
off on weird tangents. Hey BL, good to see you in the chat, kind sir, or Mr. Wayne. It looks like you're John Wayne. Well, hello there, Pilgrim.
Mhm.
uh Having visited
Yep.
a lot of the area where John Wayne filmed, I remember in the 1990s, I was living in Utah, and there was some little I think it was Moab or something. I visited a place, and talking with the owner, they knew John Wayne because of, when he would come in there and film in there, and he said he was a really nice guy. He was just drunk all the time. It's like, so.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, Moab is amazing. Moab is like that whole area, natural bridges, national monuments, the delicate arch. It's like literally, it's the only place that I've been on this planet. I truly felt like I was on another planet, other than Galaxy's Edge, which it's like a fake Star Wars planet. Anyway. We do want to get to the stories. We have a goal, by the way, of 5 super chats on the show. If we get to that 5, Erica is going to sing.
No, I'm not.
She's like, what? No, I'm not. We're gonna sing. We're gonna sing a Sonny and Cher duet. No,
I'll bust your eardrums with my tone deaf voice.
Medicine Hat. Oh man. There, DL, there is a restaurant that I went to one time in what's that little city? Some little city in some tiny little Monticello, Utah, just north of Medicine Hat, and it was run by the family. That was so good. They had the best broccoli salad I've ever had in my life, and I wish I knew what their recipe was. It's not, the restaurant's not there anymore; it closed. But it was funny because since it was family run, our server was usually this 9 or 10-year-old kid because he was allowed to work, being as it was a family business, and it was just really, really funny. But they had really good food, and it was, of course, it was the 90s. It was super cheap. You could get a steak dinner there for like $8. I can remember when you bump into Sonny and Cher on the Sun Strip, not far from the whiskey. Yeah. Wow. Swinging steak on a grill on a pivot that swings over the fire and back. Oh my gosh. How you want to make me go out west again? Oh, maybe someday. Well, we should probably get to stories. It's 10 o'clock. By the way, I didn't see if Culture Casino had his link up. I need to probably redirect to Culture. If anybody knows, Love Pugs is here. Hey, Love Pugs. Always love seeing you guys in the chat. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Let me see. Redirect. I'm going to look for Culture's redirect here.
I put it in the back chat.
There it is. I found it. I got it. Epic makes Disney sad. Yeah. As Erica is well aware, everybody's putting up all this crap from Epic Universe, almost too much.
Not
because
for me.
because the influencers, well, I mean, you're over in Germany, but like it's just it's so much spoilage over there at Epic right now. And I want to experience monsters for the first time. I want to experience the Ministry of Magic for the first time. We've seen the concept art and the pictures and all that kind of stuff. But now you've got there are a ton of influencers being able to be let in and spoiling it. And I'm so mad at Universal for not letting me in yet. Oh no, this is interesting. So apparently there's a larger person who is testing all the ride seats. Happy, all of them seem okay for us larger folks, with Stardust Racers being the only iffy one. Well, that's good. Influencers. Yes, indeed. What do we influence? I have no idea. I know Taco Bell is one of the greatest influencers in my life, because when I eat Taco Bell, it definitely influences me in a certain way.
Bathroom?
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so let's get to stories. This first one that we got to get to is a Bob Iger story. Oh, and how much do we love Bob Iger? Hey, Elizabeth Ann. That's my sister's name. Beth Ann. True story. But I don't think this is my sister because she doesn't go by that anymore. So, yeah. You may or may not realize that Bob Iger now has a building named after him in New York City. What we didn't know is what that building ended up replacing and displacing. And we've got to get this. So we're going to get this on the screen right now. This is out of thatparkplace.com. Disney New York City headquarters, named after Bob Iger, causes closure of historic fire museum honoring FDNY's fallen heroes. And I'm assuming that some of those fallen heroes are even from 9/11. This is out of That Park Place by M. Montanaro. And there he is, the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind, Bob Iger. Disney construction may have destroyed the historic New York Fire Museum, which honors the history and legacy of the New York City Fire Department. Construction of the flashy new Disney headquarters at 7 Hudson Square, officially titled the Robert A. Iger Building, allegedly caused $6 million in structural damage to the neighboring New York City Fire Museum, forcing the institution to shut its doors for nearly a year. And this was an ex-post from the New York Post. New York City Fire Museum in danger of shutting down for good after Disney construction damage. Not that Disney's ever. I mean, under Bob Iger, I don't think they care what they destroyed. I mean, they're destroying the Snow White's legacy. The museum, housed in a 120-year-old Beaux Arts firehouse, features more than 30,000 artifacts, including a memorial to the 343 firefighters lost September 2001. Now it sits silent. I know, right? Now it sits silent, cracked, and cordoned off, while the building named after Disney's CEO stands proudly next door. Hey, it's Rocket. According to a lawsuit filed by the city, excessive vibrations from the Disney construction caused the Fire Museum building to become dangerously unstable. One morning in May, staff preparing for a birthday party with 30 children heard loud bangs, felt the floor soften beneath their feet, and evacuated in panic. Since then, the museum has been shuttered, limping along without ticket revenue and struggling to survive. Executive Director Patty Murphy told the New York Post the institution is now in a dire position, unable to care for its priceless collection or serve the public. The museum will launch an emergency fundraising campaign just to keep the lights on. Meanwhile, Disney's 1.2 million square foot skyscraper, complete with solar panels, green tech, and live event studios, is now open for business. A priceless legacy at risk. The New York City Fire Museum isn't just some dusty collection of memorabilia. It's a sacred vault of New York's bravest. Inside the historic 1904 firehouse are over 30,000 artifacts spanning centuries, from bucket brigade relics used before fire hoses existed, to a 1901 La France coal-fired steam engine, to modern tools like the Jaws of Life. Most poignantly, it houses a solemn memorial to the 343 firefighters who gave their lives in the World Trade Center in September of 2001, a permanent tribute to the courage and sacrifice woven into the city's very soul. And now, thanks to reckless construction right next door to put up a building Bob Iger named after himself, the legacy sits in limbo. Murphy is scrambling to protect the priceless collection from further harm, but the museum is small, underfunded, and lacks a specialist or resources to manage large-scale preservation or relocation. Without urgent help, the entire collection, artifacts that can never be replaced, could be left to deteriorate. It is a shrine, not a tribute. It's not unusual for buildings to be named after Disney leaders after they leave. The Michael D. Eisner Building, renamed by Iger after Eisner exited the company. The Frank G. Wells Building, dedicated posthumously by Eisner. But in this case, Bob Iger actively chose to slap his own name on a Disney's new East Coast headquarters while still holding power, like he's ever going to want to let go of that power. It wasn't the Walt Disney building. Not a nod to the company's founder, not a celebration of the studio's rich New York legacy, just Bob. The irony, New York is where it all started. Steamboat Willie, and by extension, Mickey Mouse, debuted in Manhattan. Walt himself introduced revolutionary technologies at the 1964 World's Fair just miles from the new headquarters. And now, instead of honoring the man who built the company, Disney celebrates the executive who bought up IP like it was going out of style and left Main Street to rot. Damage, denial, and Disney. While the city prepares to sue Disney's development partners, Hudson Square Realty, Shanska Incorporated, and Land Lease U.S. Construction, the company's official stance is more spin than accountability. A Disney spokesperson said the company is working with the city and claims the lawsuit is just a legal formality. Translation, nothing to see here, folks. Oh, no. But there's plenty to see. Giant cracks in the sidewalk, $6 million in damages, and a museum barely clinging to life, all while Bob Iger's name gleams in the Manhattan skyline. If the museum doesn't reopen, it won't be just a loss of history. It'll be a loss of integrity, community, and respect for the real heroes who once lived and died to serve the city. Unfortunately for them, there's no place for that in Iger's vision of Disney, not unless it fits on a shareholder slide or can be licensed for merchandise. This, to me, is one of those stories I just don't like covering. It's disgusting. The fact that care wasn't taken during this construction just absolutely baffles the mind when there's something so historic literally right next door. Erica, I'll go to you for your thoughts.
I learned a few new things. I didn't realize that there were former buildings where he had changed the names to himself, dishonoring the past CEOs, which I understand weren't perfect, but they still left a massive mark on the company, and they deserve to have their names up too, instead of just his name plastered everywhere. And I didn't realize I knew it was bad with his narcissism and conceitedness, hubris, call it whatever you want. I just didn't know it was, I guess, on this other level.
Yeah.
That that's really disturbing on I don't know. I don't understand how there's no moral compass in that company.
No,
It's
I don't
their
know.
messaging, money. That's it.
Yeah,
Even
I
the
don't know.
shareholders don't have a sense of morality to be like, WTF, you know, like enough is enough here.
And I
Nobody
don't know that
cares.
Bob Iger, I don't know what all his name is on. I mean, the New York building, obviously, I'm sure it's on some other things. I do think that some of those, like the Eisner and Wells building, I think those are still there under those names. I don't think Bob Iger took that name away from Eisner. I think he named it after Eisner had left. But still, Bob Iger's definitely put his name on a lot of things when it comes to Disney. I think the man just likes seeing it. It's funny because
Yeah,
you think of
exactly.
Snow White and you think of the evil queen, and the very first thing that you see in Snow White, the very first animated full-length feature film in a movie theater, the very first thing you see is the villain coming up to the mirror and saying, mirror, mirror on the wall. It's all about, like, the first thing you see is how vain and narcissistic she is. And I have a feeling that Bob might be very much the same, keeping his office, keeping his shower, keeping all that stuff while he was supposedly gone from the company. All that stuff is, I don't know, it's a little bit beyond ridiculous to me. But what do you think about the destruction of the fire museum next door?
That's really sad. I didn't know that. I hope they're able to get funding to fix that. I'm kind of certain. I don't know. My question is, are the locals there up in arms? Are there any like protests or petitions? being circulated in because usually New Yorkers seem to be very protective of especially 9/11,
Yeah.
and holding their firefighters. But at the same time, as humans, we do tend to forget our history.
No, I would agree with
And
you. But it makes me think of that scene from Spider-Man that they put in specifically after 9/11. They had to reshoot it, where it's like, we're in New York. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. It's like, how can
yeah,
you possibly? I don't know. The
I'm
hubris on
surprised it's
that
not
man.
more in the headlines. But
No, yeah,
then again, Lord forbid cast any negative shade on Disney and Iger. They just, for
yeah.
whatever reason, they're constantly protected, even in the media, and it's really disgusting.
I'm pretty sure that the reason has to do with
Oh yeah,
money.
no one has any integrity anymore other than the independent journalists and YouTubers, that shed this kind of stuff to light. And they wonder why they're losing all their ratings to people like you guys, you know.
Uh, I mean, I just I'm here with in conjunction with WDW Pro and Jonas and that Park Place and stuff, just to shed light on what is happening with the company that I used to love. I mean, I
Mhm.
loved the Walt Disney Company. I love the things that they've done in the past. They've done a lot of good. Like, they really have done a lot of good. But under Bob Iger's leadership, it I've never
Mhm.
seen somebody who probably has some very, very good capabilities single-handedly destroying the company that he's in charge of in the way that he's doing it. It's unprecedented as far as I'm concerned, and I hate seeing it. And I hope that there's a way back for the Disney company to become what they once were. I don't know. Like, my hope is diminishing every single time I see something like this, and that's what's scary.
Mm.
But if not, somebody else is going to step up to the plate, because that's always happened throughout history. When one regime falls, another regime rises, and good things will come back. That's all we can hope for.
I hope so.
Yep. So we shall see. We shall see what happens. Anyhow, moving on to our next story that we have to get on the screen. Let me put this up here. This is a good one. This one makes me kind of happy. Let's see if this works. There we go. Gina Carano wins big in Disney lawsuit discovery battle. Judge orders Disney to hand over actor pay records within 20 days. So this is kind of cool. Uh, um,
Nice.
yeah, because we know that Disney has been stalling. She was supposed to go to court this
Mm.
summer, and they have delayed that by like another year. And so for her to win any battle in this huge war against Disney is very promising. And I'm very, very happy that this has happened. So um, well, Gina Carano wins big against Disney in lawsuit discovery battle. Judge orders Disney to hand over actor pay records within 20 days. Out of that Park Place by Marvin Montanaro yesterday, there's Gina Carano all dressed up in her Cara Dune digs. And, it's so funny to me still that Disney finally had the exact actress that they wanted, the exact woman that they wanted for the exact role that they've been so shouting about for years. And that is the strong girl boss woman character. Well, they finally actually had a truly strong girl boss woman in a role, and it's the one person that they decided to dump when all of the rest of them can't live up to that. It's ridiculous to me.
Mm.
But and I've pretty much been out of the Star Wars game since they let Gina go, because I think it was so disgusting and so wrong that they let her go, and why they let her go, and a part of it has to do with her not honoring pronouns. That to me was just disgusting. You should not force anybody into uh, into somebody else's lie. If somebody else wants to lie, they have the right to do that. But you should not be forced into coddling into their lie. It's so wrong.
Yeah, why should I have to cater to your moral compass if mine is different?
No,
What about
yeah,
being quote, true to me, which they parade that around too.
right, exactly. And sometimes, and they have to realize that if I'm true to myself and you're true to yourself, and those two truths don't equate, you got to let those people be what they want, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to like each other. You have to relate to each other. You just have to get along at work, But
Yeah,
no,
right.
no honoring. Like, it was so wrong what they did to her. Anyway, in a major legal victory for Gina Carano in her lawsuit against Disney, the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California has granted a motion to compel Disney to turn over documents related to how other Star Wars actors are compensated, including big names like Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, and the cast of The Mandalorian and Grogu. The order comes after 8 months of what Carano described as Disney's deflection and stalling in her wrongful termination lawsuit. The court order issued in case number 224-CV-01009 forces Disney to comply within 20 days, handing over verified spreadsheets showing how actors were paid across The Mandalorian, related Disney Plus shows, and the upcoming film. The ruling partially grants Carano's motion to compel, marking a pivotal moment in the ongoing battle between the Cara Dune actress and one of Hollywood's largest media corporations. Here you can see the lawyer. I believe this is one of the lawyers for Gina and his post on X. Just letting you read over that because I think it's in the writing here. Yes. Discovery motion granted in Gina Carano's case against Disney, wrote her attorney Jean Scher on X. The court is forcing Disney to turn over information about how Star Wars stars like Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, and others from The Mandalorian, other Disney Plus Star Wars shows, and the forthcoming movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, were compensated for their roles. What is a motion to compel, and what just happened? A motion to compel is basically a legal way of saying they're not giving us what they're supposed to. Judge, make them. There you go. Carano's legal team filed this motion back on April 2nd after 8 months of what they claim was stonewalling by Disney during the discovery process, which is pretty obvious. I'm sure Disney does not want to turn over any of those documents because they don't want this discovery because it's not going to look good for them. In plain terms, her lawyers need access to Disney's internal data so a damages expert can calculate what Carano would have earned had she not been fired in 2021. The court agreed, finding that Carano's request for pay data across Star Wars actors was reasonable, relevant, and necessary to establish lost income. According to the court document, the root, substantive, and material question relevant to the parties' claims or defenses is what information plaintiff needs on its own terms or to provide her testifying damages expert in order to help establish the amount of compensation she could have reasonably expected to earn from her employment with Walt Disney in a but-for scenario had Walt Disney not terminated her employment from the Mandalorian television show in February of 2021. So what did Gina win and what's next? Excuse me. While the court didn't grant everything Carano asked for, it gave her legal team the green light on several key points. Disney must produce actor compensation records within 20 days of the order. Oh, excuse me. The documents must include verified spreadsheets, not vague summaries or cherry-picked numbers. The scope includes The Mandalorian, the other Disney Plus Star Wars series, and the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu film. If more records are needed, Carano's lawyers can ask for additional evidence after reviewing what Disney hands over. In short, this isn't just a minor win in the Gina Carano Disney lawsuit. This opens the door to even more discovery if the expert believes the first batch isn't enough. And there she is with the Mandalorian. Something hit my throat
I guess
wrong.
we'll see how much they're complying or willing to comply. Let's see if they
Exactly.
follow the rules.
Yeah. The order shows the court won't let Disney bury relevant information in this high stakes battle by playing procedural games, Shearer said. So here's what the court granted GINA Carano. The court granted Carano's motion to compel in part, ordering Disney to hand over the following within 20 calendar days. It's pretty soon. That has to be by the 22nd, unless both sides agree to other deadlines. Required documents are 1, actor compensation summaries. Disney must provide verified spreadsheets or summaries showing how much these actors were paid. Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, Carl Weathers, across the Mandalorian seasons 1, 2, and 3. Rosario Dawson in the Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka seasons 1 and 2, which I believe hasn't even occurred yet. But I guess that they're filming it, or maybe they filmed it already. Amanda Stenberg in The Acolyte, because that's the question we're all asking. How much did Amanda? Who named her Amandla? Why would you name somebody a
I'd
name
like
nobody
to
can
know.
pronounce?
Call her Amanda. I don't know why they put that L in there.
Amandla. And Diego Luna in Andor seasons 1 and 2. So Carl Weathers contracts. Disney must turn over Carl Weathers' actual contracts for The Mandalorian seasons 1 through 3 with redactions limited to personal or representation information. Mandalorian movie pay data, a spreadsheet showing compensation for any actor from the series reprising their role in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, with Disney again required to verify the accuracy. General compensation practices. Disney must also provide verified information either in writing or through discovery, explaining how lead and supporting actors are compensated across Star Wars Disney Plus shows. That's The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, The Acolyte, and Skeleton Crew, especially if pay structures differ between the series. And then this is what the court has denied GINA Carano for now. The judge denied Carano's request for other actor contracts besides Carl Weathers and the budgets and profits from Star Wars shows and films. However, this door isn't fully closed. The court said Carano's team can renew these requests after they disclose their expert witness, but only if that expert lays out exactly how those figures tie into their damages model and proves that no other available data can serve as a substitute. So this was a strategic denial, but not a shutdown. Other keynotes from the order: the 20-day timeline is strict, but the parties can agree to modify it as long as it doesn't violate the trial schedule. The info can be given on an attorney's eyes-only basis, but GINA's expert is allowed to use it to build her case. Disney tried to get sanctions or penalties against Carano's side. The court flat out denied that request. That's a thank God. Yeah, let me read that again, because this is so. I mean, this is so repulsive and disgusting. Disney tried to get sanctions or penalties against Carano's side after Disney was the one that fired her for doing nothing wrong. Can you believe it? Gosh, thank goodness the court flat out. I know.
Under
right?
what grounds? I'll be right
Coffee
back.
grounds.
Gotta get the door.
Go ahead. The court flat out denied that request. The April 23rd hearing was canceled because the judge resolved the issue in writing. All right. So what happens if what happens if Disney doesn't comply with the GINA Carano motion to compel? Well, if Disney misses the 20-day deadline or tries to drag its feet again, there are serious consequences. The court can issue sanctions against the company, including fines or forcing Disney to pay Carano's legal fees for wasting time. The judge could also strip Disney's right to object to future evidence disclosures, meaning Carano's team could gain access to even more internal data with less resistance. And in a worst case scenario, Disney could be found in contempt of court. That's the legal equivalent of poking the bear and would reflect terribly in public and in the courtroom. More importantly, failing to comply would paint Disney as obstructive and possibly guilty of hiding something. It would bolster Carano's claim that her firing wasn't just unfair, it was targeted and discriminatory. And I think this is very, very important because it's key to this case, because I do believe her firing was, in fact, targeted and very, very discriminatory. A pattern of disrespect. The legal breakthrough comes just days after Carano blasted Disney on X for continuously disrespecting her long after her firing. That includes the recent ESPN Women's History Month tribute that scrubbed her entirely from the legacy of mixed martial arts, despite her central role in establishing the sport, which she did. She had a huge role. It's her legacy. GINA CARANO was fantastic in women's MMA. Disney's discrimination is plain as day, Gina said in her earlier post. Maybe that is why they're delaying providing the proof, sitting right in their files. GINA CARANO has also accused Disney of holding a double standard when it comes to political or ideological statements made by actors, pointing out that others in the company's orbit have made far more controversial comments without facing termination. Yes.
Yep.
I mean, names like Pedro Pascal and Rachel Zegler are the obvious ones, but there's plenty of others. Her lawsuit, supported financially by Elon Musk, has become a rallying point for critics of cancel culture, forced corporate ideology, and the erasure of dissenting views from entertainment. With this latest court order, the stakes just got higher, and Disney's usual no comment strategy may not hold water for much longer. Kind of like Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Because Tiana's Bayou Adventure also has a lot of trouble holding water. Oh my gosh. Erica, thoughts on this whole fiasco?
Oh, it's getting juicy. And it looks like it's looking up for her. I'm just wondering how long before like the lefty media has no choice but to report on some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Because sometimes our hands are kind of forced to have to say
I mean,
things. I guess it'll be a while.
The lamestream dinosaur legacy media, whatever we like to call them, they again, I mean, a lot of that media is controlled, in fact, by Disney, since Disney owns ABC and ESPN and other outlets like that. And then you've got a lot of their friends over at CBS and NBC and stuff like that. Nobody wants to talk bad about Disney. It used to be, and maybe it's still true, not just that they don't want to talk bad about Disney because of Disney's legacy and money, but also because Disney in the past had the power to hurt those outlets. However, I do think that might be diminishing quite a bit. You saw it once, a way that you saw it in a big, like, in your face kind of way was with the reviews of Snow White, because they invited a certain group of people to watch the Snow White premiere and comment on it. And everybody that they invited was, of course, 1,000% positive. And the day after, real reviews started to drop, and they just slashed, the new woke Snow White. And not even for being woke, but just for being just for being a rotten film, just for being not fun, not entertaining, nothing like the original Snow White. And a lot of those, it was cringe. A lot of those reviews, though, were in fact legacy media or out of legacy media outlets. So maybe the legacy media is not quite as afraid of Disney as they used to be. And hopefully we'll see more reported on Gina, but I am rooting for her all the way, especially, and I think more so after what happened to James Gunn, mostly because James Gunn was let go. He's, as far as I know, he's at least kind of falls to their side, politically speaking, but his tweets were not political. They were joking about some very, very serious issues when it comes to what adults should not do with children. And
Mhm.
it was totally anti-Disney. It was totally disgusting. It was a lot of tweets, but in fact, they were 10 years ago and before he ever worked for the Disney company. So I actually was against him being fired in the first place, as I am with pretty much any of these people. I don't think you should get fired. I don't think Gina should have gotten fired. I don't think Roseanne should
Mhm.
have gotten fired. I don't think people should necessarily get fired for what they do in social
Mhm.
media, unless they're repetitive about doing it and they do it over and over again, uh, and it could have incredible damage on, for example, the box office. So, for example, Rachel Zegler, she over and over and over again did the same thing, made the same mistakes, and with no apologies, certainly no sincere apologies whatsoever.
Well,
So
aside from the
I
political stuff, she was just trashing, the characters in the original story and, by extension, just the entire Snow White, you know, and then coupled with that, you had the political statements that she made later down the road. But in
Yeah,
that
and
case,
and
yeah,
basically telling
but if you
everybody not
have
to go see a movie.
yeah, if you have personal opinions, on things, you should be allowed to express them and say them without any, retaliation. That's
Exactly.
the country we're supposed to be living in. But if you're, coupling that with, just trashing a film,
Well, but
then
on
that's a
top of it,
problem
when
for the
she did make
CEO.
there was one very particular political statement that she made, but she made it in conjunction with the movie itself. Like she made it on,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was in a
it was
thread of a
right.
movie
Yeah,
post. Gina Carano
yeah,
never did that. She never did anything the
right.
like. So, um, how they treated Rachel versus how they treated Gina, I think is going to play into this case big time. The fact
Oh, I
that they
hope so.
rehired yeah, the fact that they rehired
Mhm,
James Gunn could also play into this case big time. There's a lot of other things. I just, in the end, I hope Gino wins the case, gets well compensated. I hope there's punitive damages issued.
but
I
to
think
be
she deserves the
so
world.
I find it interesting to be so pro-woman and anti-white male, and Disney just completely obliterated that philosophy, with the way they treated, was it James Gunn? Is that the guy you were just mentioning? Did I get the name
Yeah,
right?
yeah, James
Yeah,
Gunn.
him versus, Carano, yeah. That of in itself is kinda like, you just kinda shot your own little philosophy there in the foot. I mean, they do it all the time, but that's just one example.
Yeah, it's I and you know what, everything that happened to Gina happened at a time in 2021 when you had probably the most far leftist activists that had been hired into the company over the last decade, um, that were very, very active at that time. Like it was, um, when the time, like when the parks were reopening and stuff like that. And then I came back
Mhm.
and it was a completely different world, even at Walt Disney World,
Yep.
which Walt Disney World, there are a
Mhm.
lot of very conservative people that work at Walt Disney World, but they were shoving so much leftist activism crap down our throats that it was very, very hard to work there as a cast member during that period of time
Mm.
when you literally felt that you were walking on eggshells while somebody who at least said that they agreed with that leftist ideology could get away with anything they wanted to at work. It was disgusting. I saw it a lot, and I wish I could go into exact actual examples, but I don't want to get sued either. And so,
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
it's really frightening though what they were able to do um, out there. Let's see. Let's check in on some of the chat. Mark Hamill, Amanda Stenberg, Tatiana Maslany, they put nails in Disney's coffin. And, I hope.
Yeah.
Uh
I hope
oh.
legally that will be
Later,
true.
deal. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's I'm just trying to look through the comments and see. the point, not just during her work, but anticipation of what she would have made in the spinoff that she was told that they were planning to star. Yes, that's true.
Okay.
There is a huge
All
spinoff
right.
series
That's
that would have starred her as the main role, and
mhm.
I think it was called, what was it? Something new something of the Republic. I can't remember what it was going to be called, but yeah, it's she would have gotten a lot of money. Um, so there was a lot to come for Gina Carano in her Star Wars career. Not to mention, but there's other compensation that she's also possibly missed out on because of this whole thing. So if you think about it, it's an entire career because uh,
Mhm.
Rangers of the New Republic. If let's say that she would have gotten Rangers of the New Republic, the amount of recognition from that, could that have spun off into a movie? Could that have spun off into her agency, putting her out there for all kinds of things? You think about the fact that she was in a successful property, Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, by far the best Star Wars content that they've created in all of Disney since Disney's had Star Wars. Seriously, the Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 are the best, and a lot of that has to do with Gina Carano and her character. Um, and Where she could have gone from that is, I mean, we're talking up into the potential hundreds of millions of dollars in the future. So she could be compensated a lot if she wins this, because it's not just for one thing. It's about how it affects a number of other things, and she deserves
Yeah.
it. Then she should retire and
Yeah.
start her own production company and hire me as an actor. That would be great. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for being here today, Erica. What you got going on?
Not a whole lot, just stream hopping today, gonna be on T3PO, and I'm really excited about that because we're gonna go down, Epic Universe and what's been, putting out on videos, and I'm going to go in and debunk some of the, retarded pixie dusting, critics have been saying, and not really giving a fair analysis between Universal and Disney, especially when it comes to park design, just the methods or the psychology behind the methodology of, you know, theme parks. And I have a lot to say. So I'm excited for
That's good.
T3PO tonight. And then we got Lorena later tonight at 7:30.
Well, I will have to watch the replay on T3PO because we're taking my family to see Minecraft at 3:30 p.m. today. So that'll
Oh,
be
have
after the
fun.
pro show. So I'll be on the pro show,
Sit in the back.
and then you'll be on T3PO. What?
Sit in the back. My sister went and saw it, and the young adults were throwing food at the screen.
I think our seats are in the middle. I don't know. We'll see what
Well, that
happens. Oh well, when I got my seats, the reason I chose a 3:30 show is at that point in time when I got the seats, they were like literally there was no tickets sold for Tuesday yet. So I got literally my pick of the litter of which seats I wanted. So I picked the seats that
nice.
Xander likes to sit. He likes to sit in the middle. So but anyhow, and we've got the Daily Dish every day. I've got WDW Pro in a little bit, but right now we are going to send you over to Culture Casino, and let's have a little celebration just before we send you off. Thank you guys so much, everybody, for being here, and we want to just celebrate you being in the audience. I love the Culture Bear celebration. Guys, thank you so much for being here today, every single one of you. If I didn't say your name, Elizabeth Ann, Bud Files, Goen Shogi, DL Fendel, whoever I may have missed in the chat, I apologize if I didn't see you, but I want to thank each and every single one of you for being here today. Thank you so much, Erica, for co-hosting with me, if you will, today. And thank you, chat,
Thanks for having me.
for you're welcome, and thank you, chat, for co-hosting with all of us. And until next time, we will see you real soon. Bye, everybody. Ciao.